2 decades down the drain. This is really long, sorry. I never thought I would be posting this, but here I am. I met my husband when I was 24 and he was 36. I thought he was everything I could ever want, and we got married a year and a half later. As young as I was, I had already been through a very traumatic relationship and had a lot of lingering issues with trust. Over the years I let it go, but apparently he did not. It's something that keeps being brought up every time we argue. I'm now 44, he is 56. I found out last June that he was having an online affair. You know that gut feeling that you get when something isn't right? Well, I had that feeling and I went snooping through his laptop one night while he was out. I found Facebook messages, emails, Google Voice texting. He told her he loved her, gave her nicknames, sent her songs, started planning a fucking life. She knew he was married, she knew he had a daughter. It apparently didn't matter to her. It had been going on for a while before I found out. When I say I was furious, it's an understatement. I don't know that I even have the right word to describe my emotions that night. We had very serious discussions for about a week. He apologized and said he made a mistake and it was over. I believed his bullshit. And then when we were at a barbecue for the 4th of July, I saw him on his phone, typing away. I thought he was replying to a text I had sent him, but I never got a response. So later that night while he was drunk and asleep I checked his email again. And sure enough, he was talking to her. I completely lost my shit. I broke the back door, not one of my finer moments, but I was so angry. This time he swore he was telling her it was over. And like a dumbass who didn't want to lose the stability, I believed him. Of course, the trust was already broken and I continued to check his laptop periodically, but then I saw a message between him and someone he knew way before he met me, and they were not innocent. Once again, lost my shit. Once again, apologies and promises. This was also right around our anniversary in August. Fast forward yet again to Halloween. Mine and my daughter's favorite holiday. He went to a bar or something, she and I did stuff together. After my daughter had gone to bed, I checked his laptop and sure enough, girl number 1 is once again back in the picture. I took my wedding ring off and I said I'm done unless you can promise me that you're in this. About a week later I put my ring back on, but it hasn't been the same since. I'm so resentful. I've moved past being hurt and broken, and now I'm just angry. I haven't been intimate with him since last year. I can't bring myself to do it because I know he will be thinking about someone else. I've opted to not hang out with him when we go out at all. He goes one place and I go to another. I work part-time as a bartender and I've picked up shifts just to not have to be around him. My breaking point was Saturday night. I went to a music festival with a bunch of friends. He asked if I wanted him to pick me up where we all met to go down there when we got back. I said yes, and bring me a sweatshirt because I'm freezing. I said I didn't know if anybody was planning on hanging out, but I was pretty much ready to go home and sleep. We had lost power the day before and I sleep with a CPAP, which means I did not get a whole lot of sleep. Apparently my saying bring a sweatshirt meant that I wanted to hang out, so after drinking a 6-pack at home he came up to the bar and waited for me. I never asked him to do that and immediately got irritated. He got mad because he thought that's what I meant and I was like, nowhere in those texts did I say that. So we had it out that night. He accused me of having a thing with one of my female friends, a woman who is literally my mom's age, and it's kind of filled the void having her in my life, more like a big sister role than anything else. He accused me of having a thing with one of the cooks that used to work at the bar, etc., etc. What set me off that night was that I told him I'm not in love with him anymore, but I do love him. But I cannot forgive him no matter how hard I tried. I can't unsee the words that he said to somebody else. I can't forget that he was giving her everything that I've always wanted him to give me. His response was that he made a mistake and apologized, and if it was me he would have let it go. I told him you don't get to dictate my emotions and how I move on from something like that. And that we need a break. Honestly, for me it's already over. Taking a break isn't going to change how I feel now. My daughter is 15 years old and quite aware of what is happening because things got loud when I kept finding out over and over that he was doing the shit. She loves her dad, but she hasn't liked him as a person for a very long time. That hurts me for her, because for the first 10 years of her life he was a really good dad. He changed after he got sick in 2013, he was in the ICU for 3 weeks and we almost lost him. But after he got out, he started becoming a different person and he was no longer who I married. I stuck it out, because that's what you do, right? I was there for him when both of his parents died, different years, but his dad died in a house fire and it was very traumatic. This was back in 2017 and 2020. In November of 2022, I lost one of my best friends very suddenly to a pulmonary embolism. I was also dealing with my mom being extremely sick and in and out of hospitals. I never really got to process my grief for the next 6 months plus. I spent time trying to take care of my mom, coordinating care for her, fighting her insurance to get her rehab. All of my efforts proved fruitless, and she never fully recovered. I lost her at the beginning of May 2023. I have so much guilt, feeling like maybe I didn't do enough or I did the wrong things. Making the decision to put my mom on hospice was the hardest and worst decision I've ever had to make. I spiraled very hard for about 6 months and then threw myself into repairing my marriage. And that worked for a few months, but the depression was too much for me. And then I found out about his affair. I started going to therapy and all I realized was that I'm not happy and something had to change. At the beginning of this year I started making great strides to take care of myself. I started seeing my doctor regularly, I started seeing a psychiatrist to get myself on meds that I need. My insurance finally approved a weight loss injection, and I started that in February. I've been working out, eating better, making all the lifestyle changes that I need in order to be happy with myself again. And that pushed me further and further away from him. There's actually a whole lot more backstory for this, but this is already long as hell. I guess now that I've told him that this isn't working anymore, I need to figure out what to do. He's on disability, and the car is in his name, but the house is in both of ours. I know with the help of my circle I could easily find a car, and I can support myself and my daughter just on the money I make bartending. I run my own business as well, so I know I would be fine. Selfishly I really wanted him to just leave, but I don't know how to motivate him to go.